your time. What do you make of the figures out today? It is a grim set of numbers, and obviously with the JobKeeper program still underway, there is a real suggestion here that the worst is yet to come.
Ash, these are devastating figures. As the Prime Minister has already said, they represent hundreds of thousands of Australian men and women of all ages and right across the community who are directly affected. People have lost jobs. People are looking for many more hours of work than businesses can currently afford to pay them, and some people, unfortunately, have simply stopped looking. We survey industry every 3 months, and with Westpac, and just a couple of days ago, we found that prospects for unemployment aren't going to get any better anytime soon, and that's because investment plans have been scaled back and domestic demand has fallen, as we all knew it would, and the data is coming in. Now, there is one ray of light, and that is Australian businesses are still exporting and exporting well, and that is tending to hold up. But these are very sobering figures, and they do represent real impacts on real lives. And what they also tell us is the impact of the social restrictions, the social distancing, particularly on people-to-people industries, businesses in the services industry.
James, we just heard from Labor there, Jim Chalmers, the Shadow Treasurer, demanding the government give Australians more certainty when it comes to the future of the JobKeeper program. As we know at the moment, it is slated to end in September. Is it difficult for confidence that the government isn't planning to give us an updated plan for what's happening for the rest of the year until late July?
Well, certainty is a precious commodity for people in business right now and the people who work for them. That's absolutely right. The government has said that it's reviewing JobKeeper. We have put in our suggestions. We'd certainly like to see aspects of the program extended, particularly for the hardest hit industries. But it's not just about JobKeeper. It's also about the social distancing measures. And one thing that's really coming through at the moment is this 1 person per 4 square metre rule, the 4 square metre rule. Now, it's actually inconsistent with the need for all of us to keep 1.5 metres away from each other. The 1 person per 4 square metre rule in businesses actually means more than that distance. And it does literally make the difference between some businesses being able to afford to reopen and those having to stay closed. And that's why we're pushing with the government, with the health authorities across the country and in Canberra to have the 1 person per 4 square metre rule lifted. It doesn't make sense, and the data, including the health data, simply don't support it anymore.
It's interesting to look at the breakdown of the figures. We know that younger people, of course, have been severely impacted. Women also bearing the brunt in terms of dropping out, the participation rate reflecting that. When it comes to a state breakdown, the highest rate of unemployment is in Western Australia at 8.1%, as the worst for the country. Surely that's food for thought for the WA Premier, Mark McGowan, when it comes to this stoush over borders.
Well, the closing of state borders has produced, certainly correlated with some significant job losses, and it's an understandable decision that some political leaders have made, but it's very clear that businesses across the country, including in states where those borders have been closed, are advocating for those restrictions to be lifted as soon as it is safe to do so. And look, I'm here in Western Australia, as it happens, for the first meeting of the industrial relations working groups that are aimed to get some real industrial relations reform in place to try and make it easier for people in business to hire people and keep them in jobs. And I've seen indications today that the government here understands that this is hurting businesses and is looking to put out a clearer timetable for when it's going to lift that border restriction.
Okay, some hints on that front. We'll watch that space. James Pearson, thank you for your time. I appreciate that.